for the captain there. So, welcome to the Charles River, everybody. This is where the river meets the sea. It's where the Charles River flows into Boston Harbor. Oh, there's the cleanup boat. The Charles River cleanup boat. That's administered by Boston Duck Tours. We actually run the cleanup boat. Keep the Charles River nice and clean. Some of us have volunteered on it. But the dam opened up in '78. Just in the nick of time, because about a month after it opened, we had the biggest snowstorm in the history of Boston, the blizzard of '78, which dumped 4 feet of snow on the city of Boston. 4 feet. 5 feet on Rhode Island. We're still trying to find Rhode Island. But the thing about the blizzard of '78, it wasn't just the snow, it was a lot of snow. It was also the wind. Terrible storm. Winds over 100 miles per hour, gusts over 100 miles an hour. And storm surge, you know, waves 16, 18, 20 feet. The old dam, where the museum is, the museum was built on top of the old dam, built in 1910, and wasn't built for flood control. So if we hadn't had the new dam, we might have been in trouble. We might have had some pretty severe flooding. So we dodged the bullet that time. But you know, the biggest flood in the history of Boston, the most devastating flood, at least in modern history, it was about 100 years ago. Just over 100 years ago. 1919, January 1919. Over in the North End, not too far from the TD Garden, you know, right down the street from the TD Garden, there was a big metal tank right on the water, this big old rickety thing, made out of corrugated iron on Commercial Street. It was 50 feet high, 70 feet across. It held molasses from Barbados in the West Indies, 2.5 million gallons of molasses. And one day in January 1919, they filled up the tank, right? They filled the tank up to the top. It burst. The tank burst and exploded. Sent a wave of molasses like 20 feet high, 35 miles an hour into the north end of Boston. The Great Molasses Flood. They called it the Dark Tide. Killed 21 people. 21 people killed, 150 people injured. Millions of dollars in damage, as you can imagine. You know, it tore down the elevated trolley line. It tore down a fire station. One guy woke up, right? He'd been sleeping because it happened in the morning. So he was asleep when it happened, but he was floating down the street on his mattress on a sea of molasses. And there was a hand coming out of the water. It sounds like Tales from the Crypt, you know. He pulled the person in. It was his sister. She lived next door. Very strange. Very, very strange. The Great Molasses Flood. Took years to clean it up. The lock here was built about 1911. It was a working lock, as you can see from the equipment here, up until the 1950s, you know, middle of the 20th century. The harbor was lower than the river. The harbor used to come up further. And if you wanted to go from the harbor to the river, they had to lift boats into the river. Now it's all on one level, so we can go right into the upper basin. This is the main part of the Charles. It was once the widest part of the Charles, where we are right now. Not today. Today it's only about 1,500 feet wide. It used to be 10,000 feet. Almost 2 miles wide at one time. Went all the way from the Common in Boston, all the way to Leechmere Point in Cambridge. That's like a half a mile from the museum. Remember Two If by Sea, the Paul Revere poem, One If by Land, Two If by Sea. This was the Two If by Sea right here. This was the Charles River that the British had to row across from Boston to Leechmere Point in their longboats, and then they got out of the boats and had to march to Concord, 15 miles away. So does anybody want to drive? Does anybody want to help the captain drive this morning? How about over here? Would he like to drive? Want to drive the duck? Yeah, I think we got somebody in the back. You want to drive? Think about it. Hi, want to take a picture? You come down and take a picture. Hi, Sonic. I saw your hat earlier. You got the cool hat award today. Now, where are you folks from? Where are you from? Oh, Medfield. Okay, not too far. You didn't have to fly in from Medfield. Nice day. Okay, good job, Captain Midfield. There's your stickers. Okay, how about over here? Do you want to drive? There he comes. Hello. Now, where are you from?
Halifax.
Where about?
Halifax.
Oh, Halifax, Nova Scotia? Oh, nice. Have a seat. That's a nice city. That's like our sister city up in Canada there, Halifax. Yeah, we love Halifax and Boston. And Boston loves Halifax. I mean, Halifax loves Boston, too. Because they, yeah, how are you? I like it. Look at the shirt, Captain. That just bring back memories for you there. Okay, careful. Oh. Okay, very good. There's your sticker. There we go, thank you. Okay, Captain Medfield. He's like Spider-Man the way he got in there. Yeah, Halifax had a big explosion in 1917 in their harbor. Terrible explosion. And Boston was one of the first cities to come to the aid of Halifax. And because of that, you're welcome. Because of that, every year Halifax sends Boston a Christmas tree, a big tall Christmas tree every year. And we put it on the common. It's the official Christmas tree of the city of Boston. Okay, anybody? Oh, here we go. There we go. Hi. Oh, we got a couple captains. Where are you folks from? Oh, North Carolina. Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a pretty state. That's right. You've got everything in North Carolina. All right. There's your co-pilot. Okay. There's your stickers. Oh, you're welcome. That's Mass General on the right. Massachusetts General Hospital. That whole complex is Mass General. All right. Largest employer in the city. There we go. You're welcome. 30,000 people work at Mass General. Anybody else? Want to drive? I think that's it, Captain. I think we got all our drivers there. Good job. Let's hear for our captains today. Nicely done. Yeah, medicine's the #1 industry now in Boston. Medicine's #1. Financial services #2. Education's #3. And duck boats #4. Tourism's #4. We're part of that. This is the Longfellow Bridge. We're going to go into the Longfellow. Built about 1915. Named after Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the great poet. He lived over in Cambridge. Sometimes they call it the Salt and Pepper Bridge. Or the Pepper Pot Bridge, because the towers look like old-fashioned salt and pepper shakers. Like our grandmas might have had. I like the Viking ships on the side. The one further away is for Boston, has the Boston City Seal. The one closer to us is for Cambridge. The bridge was based on a bridge in St. Petersburg, Russia. The architect went all over Europe, you know, looking at different bridges. He found a bridge in Russia he liked. When they came back with the design, they added the Viking ships. Because there were a couple of professors at Harvard who were convinced that the Vikings had explored the Charles River. No evidence of it, but we did get a couple of nice Viking ships out of it anyway. MIT is on the right, part of the campus of Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Told you they started in Boston back in the 1860s. They moved to Cambridge around 1917. Boston University, a little bit further away on the other side of the Harvard Bridge, BU. The big tall building there that looks like a pile of books, that's the Newitt Technology Center at BU. Brand new. I think it's still under construction actually, and a massive project. Sort of dominates the whole campus of Boston University now. The Citgo sign, the red triangle, Kenmore Square, Fenway Park just to the left. The home of the Red Sox, the oldest ballpark in the major leagues. It opened up in 1912. First pitch was thrown out by the mayor, John F. Fitzgerald. John F. Kennedy's grandfather. He threw out the first pitch at Fenway Park. The Prudential, where we started, the second tallest building in Boston. And then the Hancock is the tallest. The John Hancock Tower, 200 Clarendon Street. Designed by Henry Cobb from I.M.K. and Associates. The old Hancock right to the left was built in the 40s. The needle on top's a weather beacon. It tells you what the weather's going to be. Solid blue, clear view. Solid red, rain ahead. If it's red and blue at the same time, it means the Red Sox have won the World Series. Not this year. Not going to happen, I don't think. They're having a tough season.